Welcome to the Versions of Healing, the interview segment of the Healing Version podcast, a space created to uplift real stories from real people on their unique paths to healing. In each episode, we sit down with individuals from all walks of life, from survivors, overcomers, healers, and seekers, to talk about the experiences that shaped them and the steps they've taken towards wholeness. There's no single way to heal, and no story is too small. Whether the wounds come from trauma, grief, addiction, broken relationships, or self-doubt, this segment is here to hold space for every voice and every version of healing. These conversations are raw, powerful, and rooted in truth, because healing doesn't just happen in silence. It happens when we share, listen, and grow together. So come as you are, and let's explore the many versions of healing. Welcome back to the Healing Version podcast, where we explore the hard, the heartfelt, and the healing. I am your host, Deborah, and today's guest is the kind of person who will make you laugh, think, and maybe even cry, but in a good way though. He's a film actor, artist, and advocate with a love for books, storytelling, and scent. But beyond the surface, Paul Cram brings a rare mix of vulnerability and wisdom. We're talking coming out, introversion in a loud industry, banned books, and a wild world of perfume. So let's get into it. So Paul,
Hello.
you say that you are an introvert, and yet you work in front of cameras and on set. How do you balance that?
Well, first off, I feel like I have to define, like, what is an introvert? Like, because I get this all the time where people are like, wait, you're an introvert? And I'm like, oh, I am such an introvert. Yes. And people often tell me, they're like, well, wait, but you're like really good with people. And I'm like, no. Being an introvert doesn't mean that I can't interact with people. Like, that's not what this is. I just get really, really tired. Like, my batteries go so low when I'm around people. I'm like, okay, I need to recharge, and I have to do that away from people. So it's not that I can't be around people. I absolutely can. It's just my batteries really deplete. Whereas like someone like my little brother, he is an extrovert, and like being around people, he gets his battery recharged that way. So he and I are very different that way. So this comes up quite a bit when I'm working on like a film set on a movie. I think a lot of people have seen behind the scenes stuff. There's generally on a movie set so many moving parts. There's so many. You've got camera, you've got lighting, you've got makeup department, you've got, and everyone's around, and it's every day, and it's, it's hubbub, and just it's chaotic generally, like organized chaos. So what I have really worked on is, because I'm also a little bit in the past, and maybe a little bit still, I have been a people pleaser, where I'm just like, give, like give my energy, give all of the, I want to make sure everybody else is okay and everybody's happy. And while that's kind of great in some spaces, when I'm working, I have found, like, when they say call action, I have to be able to perform. I have to deliver. That's why I'm there. I'm getting paid to like deliver whatever it is. And there's been times when my social battery, just my battery in general, has been so depleted because I'm trying to just be on and interact with everybody and make sure everybody's happy, which isn't even why I'm there. So I have found a little tip and a trick that I do is, and hopefully other introverts that are listening can use this too. I do 4 strikes and you're out. And what I mean by that, is like, in conversation or just in being social, if I throw a ball at you, meaning like, hey, Deborah, how's your day going? What's going on? And if you answer that question, but you don't give me anything back, that's strike 1. If I try a couple of more times and like give you energy and throw some, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if each time you just kind of take it, answer the question, but you don't give me anything back, after time 4, I'm done. it's really nice to talk to you. I've got to go. I have to go run to wardrobe, or you know what I mean? Like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that that has been a really great way for me to keep my battery charged more, where it's like I don't have to give so much to people.
Okay, I love that answer. I feel like I'm the same as far as introvert. I get really drained around people. I turn down invitations when my battery for dealing with people is low because like you, I have to recharge in solitude. I don't want to
Yes.
be around people when I'm recharging. Just let me be.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
when did you first realize that storytelling, whether through your acting or books, was your thing?
I grew up in a small town, and I appreciate this. Like my mom and my dad, I like this about what they kind of how they raised me, I guess, is I also was homeschooled. So like I didn't go to public school. So it was potentially could have been really, no people interaction whatsoever. And it was just really important to my parents that they're like, you and your siblings are not going to have stage fright. We want you to be able to stand up in front of a crowd of people and speak. And so like they had me involved in like plays at church from a very young age. And I just really, really realized I was like, I really enjoy this. I love taking on other characters. I like telling stories. And when I was in my early teens, I was like, I want to be an actor. And I told that to my mom, and she, to her credit, I really like this. She just said, she's like, okay, how are you going to do it? And she didn't like discourage me at all. And I appreciate that a lot. So I went to the library, got all the books I could, and really dug into like how do you do this? But that, yeah, it would have been, to answer your question, it would have been on stage doing drama skits at church is when I really learned that I really enjoy telling stories, and also I love being other characters. Like it's super fun.
I bet. So, how many movies would you say that you've been in? Because I was on your website and I was like, wow, this is a lot. And I started one of the movies and I'm going back to finish it. It was the one, I forget the name, but it was you guys were like down in a cave or something, and you were standing there and they had money and they were putting money in the bags and
Oh, oh my gosh, what is the name of that one too? I've done a lot. I will say
you have.
I have
The
done.
website was completely full. I was like, oh my, there's a lot
Yeah,
here.
yeah. No, over the years, I like to for listeners. If I'm not going to assume that anybody has heard of the character actor Paul Cram. Like I've done a lot of work, and it's a lot of the work too has been. It's either really low budget or it's just indie, and it's just it's there's I think something that I didn't realize when I was younger, and as I've worked in film more, I'm like, oh yeah, like there's like independent films, there's really small budget films, there's mid-sized budget films, there's huge blockbuster Marvel movie, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that relates to like what kind of release movies get and stuff like that. And I've worked with a ton, and I've worked with a ton of like up and coming like film directors that are in school and doing like short film projects that way. So over the years, to answer your question, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies, and have a lot of them ever seen the light of day? No, but some of them have, and I've enjoyed the work that I've done. I also like to tell people too, like I have chosen in my life to stay living. I live in Minnesota, and Minnesota has had some movies come here and stuff, but it's not like living in Hollywood where there's, 10 movies being made every week, So some of that impacts even some of the stuff that we're talking about. But I have had a lot of fun, and I've played a lot of roles where I die and have fun and just be horror movies and things like that. But yeah, if people are curious to see anything, they can check out my website or even just look on IMDb. There's a lot of listed movies and projects. I am rambling. Oh my God.
Oh, you're fine. So, have you thought of moving to like one of those places like Hollywood or somewhere where film is more like a
Absolutely.
bigger space?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There was a few points when I was a little bit younger that I was looking at moving to LA, and it didn't happen. I didn't make it happen. And I wouldn't say that it's a regret. I would just say it was one of those things that didn't happen for me then. Would I consider it now? Maybe. There's a lot of shifts and changes happening, like even just in the last 10 years with movies that a lot of movies aren't being made in Hollywood right at the moment. So there are a lot of movies being made there right now, but there's also movies being made everywhere. So it's an
Absolutely.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of want to move into your love for books, and your book club. So this is kind of a two-parter. So why did you start a book club for men, and how is it emotionally having those conversations with with men in a space like that? Because I know men have a lot of like a hard time being emotional a lot. So
I Isn't that sad? Like,
yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
It's. I
I
feel like
talk about it
that's.
a lot on my podcast. How emotionally disconnected a lot of men are, and I mean there are some women as well. But I think that there's been a tone set for men from the time that they're little boys that it's not okay to cry or show emotion.
Mhm.
It's a sign of weakness, and
Yeah.
it has spewed over into their adulthood. But yeah,
I am just going to say preach, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you just said. As a man, I look around and I find it's challenging to be a man in the way where it's like there is a script that you are supposed to follow, and there is a certain way in which it's like, oh, you can't do that. That's not masculine. And I look at it in life and I'm just like, no, I am a full human. And that means that I have masculine and feminine. Everyone does. You cannot
yes,
be human and not like these two things. You are not just one. You are shades of gray of all, and
hmm
uh, so I, yeah. I'm going off on a tangent. To answer your question, I started the book club because we started in 2019, and there was a book club that was meeting not too far from me where I live, and it was not for men. It was specifically just for women. And I reached out to them and I was like, "You're in my area. I'm looking for a book club. I know that you're for women, and I totally respect that. Would you care if I came? You know what I mean?"
hmm
And they were like, no. and, and I was like, all right, fair enough. And then I thought about it for a while and I was like, well, dang it, then I'm going to start one. And I'm going to have it be for men where it's just men. And we'll do what you're doing because I have to tell you, women have the book club thing figured out. Like,
hmm
if you want to throw a rock, if you can't throw a rock without hitting like 3 or 4 women's book clubs where they get together and drink wine. Like this is a thing, and they have it figured out so well. And I that sense of community, I really do. I have been jealous of that. So I was like, I'm going to start one, and I did. And we have read. I think we're going on our 6-year anniversary coming up, and I think we
okay,
have read.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Woo. And we have read over 70 books together, and it's all
Oh
nonfiction.
wow.
And it excites me so much, Deborah, to think about the conversations that we've had together. It's a small, we're not this huge, there's not hundreds of members, but
hmm
small but mighty group of men that come together. And we have had conversations on, I mean, we read pretty much everything that's nonfiction. We have read, memoirs. We've read books about death and dying, and we've read books about money and art and philosophy and all of these topics. And we've had some conversations that have been just super light and fun, but we've also
hmm
had conversations of like, here has been like in my life, my greatest failure. Here has been some of the things that have happened in my life when someone that I loved died, and how I coped with that. And I am proud of the fact to say like that I have helped to create a space where we men are having very, very wonderful, well-rounded, vulnerable conversations together it's been a really good, it's been a blessing in my life. So, and I'd like to think that it is for the other guys that are in it too.
That is awesome. So, how many members would you say you have in your book club?
We have, so I set it up through meetup.com.
Okay.
And so like pretty much anybody can join. I think right now there's over 80, 70 or 80 that are members, but
Wow. That's
every,
impressive.
it's a
For
lot
a
of
men's
people.
book club, no shade, but that's pretty impressive for a men's book
That's how
club.
many are members. I will say though, we meet once a month, and each month, we'll have it fluctuates a little bit, but there's a core group of about 10 of us. So I'm not saying like 80 guys are coming
That's
every
still
month.
really good. Like
Yeah.
10, I still find that impressive that 10, I don't know, I just look at men as looking at a book club like I'm not going to a book club, So like even 10 is impressive to me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really nice. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been, like I said, it's been a really good thing for my life too. So I love to read. Like I said, that's how I got started in acting is when my mom was like, well, how are you going to do that? And I was like, I went to the library. That was something that I learned from a very young age. It's like, well, if I don't know something, I can figure it out.
It makes
So
me think of Matilda.
yes, right?
Yeah, I see Matilda going to the library. Oh my goodness, I love the movie.
I do too.
Yes. So I kind of want to move into the your coming out and how that was for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when did you know that you were gay?
So I there's a few things there to answer your question. I always knew something was maybe a little different for me. I did not put my finger on it until I hit puberty, and I was like, oh, I'm gay. Like, but before that, when I was younger, I was just I don't know how to explain it other than I was like, something's different. I don't know what it is, and then puberty hit, and I was like, I'm gay, and I was raised in a very fundamentalist Christian family, and coming out for me was not easy. This and even just existing in that sort of a family that the the Bible and Christianity was a big part of my upbringing. Like I mentioned, like that's the first place in space where I did plays and things at church. And the messaging and things that I was receiving as a young kid and through adolescence, and even unfortunately still now, like I have family that is not accepting whatsoever. They're like, this is what we were raised in, was that being a homosexual was a dire sin, and that you're going to, it's not something that is acceptable. So me coming out, I didn't. I when I was younger, I didn't come out until I was in my 20s, and I look back on that, and I actually am very sad for that younger version of me. Because I have friends, and I hear stories where they're like, I came out and I didn't care what anybody thought, and I'm like, I'm a little bit jealous, because I was like, actually, I made a lot of decisions based on fear, fear of rejection from family, and it's actually unfortunate, because my fears in a lot of ways are, after coming out, it's like, yeah, this is what I thought would happen. When it comes to family relationships and things like that. I have a big family. I come from a really big family. I am one of 7 kids.
Oh wow.
And I'm in the middle. Do you have siblings?
I do. It's 4 of us. I'm the baby. 3
Oh, you're the
girls
baby.
and yeah, I'm the baby.
I love it. I
3
love
girls,
it.
1 boy. Yeah. And
3
then
girls, 1 boy.
I have more siblings like through my dad, but my mom has 4 children.
Okay. Excellent. Well, and yeah, so add 3 more, and you kind of get the idea. But
Yes.
but yeah, and even to this day, like there's things for myself with being gay and queer that I've really been learning in the last I would say the last 5 years. I've really been intentional in digging into, like, I've gone to therapy, I've gone to some support groups for people that were raised in a really, really strict religious upbringing, and had to grapple with what I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm queer, and how do I navigate some of this? And I have to just report, and I have to say, like, I am happy, and I don't feel that God hates me. I don't, you know what I mean? There is
all
some
the things that
messaging,
are,
all the
that's
messaging.
deflected onto you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's, there has been an impact on the upbringing that I was raised in. There's some really amazing things. And then on my being queer, it was really, really challenging and hard. And I still struggle with, some siblings of mine and stuff that are, they're just choosing, and they have that right. They get to choose what they want to choose as far as their belief systems go. Yeah. But that, I hope that kind of paints the picture of what it was like coming out. It was pretty challenging.
That definitely paints the picture, and goes into my next question, which is, like, what advice would you give for other queer people who may be struggling in similar situations where they want to come out, or they have come out and they're dealing with that backlash from the family, or they're maybe just afraid to come out because of how they will be handled?
Yeah. That's, oh, it hurts my heart for, like I said, for the younger me, but especially for a lot of people that I know are walking through that as well. My advice would be very similar to, I've thought about this, like, what would I tell the younger me, on this topic? And I would say, one, you're okay. It's okay for you to be queer. It's okay to be gay. Two, do whatever you have to do to find support outside of your family, outside of that circle. Like, that was something that I didn't do for a long time. And there is so much support available, especially nowadays when we have the internet, where it's like, there are groups that will support and help you navigate some of those really hard, even conversations with if you have to have a coming out conversation with your family, and you need a little bit of a buffer. I find, like, there are people, there are places, there are support groups that exist. I think that would be one of the things. Yeah, I would tell my younger self is, do it sooner. Find support however you have to find support. And that means, probably in my instance, it would have meant going outside of my family unit, and finding whatever that looks like. But what I do love about the internet, there's some really wacky things about the internet, but I do appreciate about the internet is that there's more access to information and more access to help these days.
Yes, a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And will you be able to share any of those resources that someone who may be listening needs to hear?
Yes. Yeah. One of them that I would highly suggest is, especially if you have family that is not accepting and they're struggling, something that you could share, or even look at for yourself. I looked at it myself, is a website called PFLAG, PFLAG.org. And that site is specifically it's actually not built for individuals that are queer. It's built for their family. It's built for, like, brothers and sisters and moms and dads. It's built for the people that are around someone that's coming out. So that would be something where, I wish that I would have known about it, or would have had that resource when I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to come out. It would have been something where I could be like, hey, you go look at this. This is for you to, like, like that conversation. I remember one time my dad, this was when I think I was like 19. He asked me, like, just point blank in the kitchen, out of the blue, like, no warning. He's like, so do you like girls? And I'll be honest, I lied right through my teeth, because he did not make it okay. Like, that would have not been okay. It would have been all the things. But in, like, an instance like that, like, had I had more, I think, emotional safety, or just, in general, I don't know. I'm not saying that I would have had the courage to share that website with my family. But that would be a website that I wish my family would have looked into. I wish that my siblings right now, these days, that are very much just struggling with me in that context, I wish they would go spend some time on that website and just look around. But I can't force people to do that.
Absolutely. They have to do it on their own.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the fun stuff, the
Yeah.
perfumes, the colognes, and all those good things. So,
Yes.
what got your interest in the perfumes and the colognes? What's your favorite? What are you wearing today? Fill us in, Paul.
Ooh, what I'm wearing, I smell good. I I
I
have to
wish I could
say,
smell you.
I smell good. I am wearing because it's really really warm. I don't know what the temperature is for you today.
It's horrible. It's
It's
it was rainy as heck this morning. I mean, it was
yes.
raining cats and dogs literally. Like I saw the cats and dogs in the street. And then the sun came out and it was warm and right now it's freezing outside. It's actually cold.
It's
I just
cold.
yes,
Okay.
I took the kids to the park like right before we came on and yeah. So, no, the
It's it,
weather's bipolar, I'll say that.
yes, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. For me, from where I'm at, up in Minnesota right now, it's warm. For me, for us, it's hot. Like it's in the mid 60s, which doesn't sound super hot, but I live
No,
in
I
a
know you guys get crazy snow.
we
I have somebody
yep.
that I connect with from the internet that lives there, and it's always like just foot and feet and snow and inches, and I'm just like, goodness, like I don't know if I could deal with that. So yes, 60
Yes,
something is
it's like
warm for you
60
guys.
something, but I'm in the upper, like I'm in an apartment building, so I'm up on the top floor. And I want to say, like, I have a little fan on. Hopefully it's not making too much noise here, but
I don't
um
hear it.
and I don't have my air on right now either because my air gets really loud. So for the purposes of what we're doing, I have that all off, and it's hovering right around 80. So it's a
Okay,
warm. It's just to set the tone. It's warm, which is a setup for. I am wearing. I actually have the bottle here.
the
I there's a.
bottle's right there. That's
It
so
is.
funny.
It is. It is. So I smell like fresh mint and sandalwood, and
It
it's a
smells like a
really
candle.
yes. It's. I smell good, like I said. So it's a really cozy sandalwood scent, but that mint is just it's that bracing. It is like the best mint scent ever. It smells like, and I love this fragrance. I love this. It's like the mint mouthwash. Like it is. It's just. It's
So
so
it's
good.
refreshing.
It is refreshing. Yes.
Yes. So are
Uh,
there any scents that like bring back a memory, like you have it and it's like nostalgic at all, or
oh, totally. I feel like I have a lot of those. Actually, one that I could tie to answer part of your question too, and I am curious. I'm curious if you have a favorite scent, but I think I know where some of my love of fragrance came from, and I remember like my dad was a really big fan of like cologne. Like I remember standing in the hallway or whatever, and he's getting ready for the day and like splashing on his Brute aftershave, and like he actually had a few bottles of cologne that my dad really liked to smell good. He was in the Navy, and he would talk about that all the time. He's like, "Oh yeah, if you don't have time for a shower, at least spray on some cologne. You got to smell good." Like that was important to him, and he definitely passed that down because I'm like, "Oh, that smells good. What is this?" You know what I mean? And I do remember years ago, like wearing some of his cologne and getting my own bottles of cologne, um, and I love this. I just have to share this too. Fun fact.
okay.
So cologne and perfume, this drives me absolutely batty. That colognes are marketed to men, perfumes are marketed to women. When scientifically, the scientific difference between cologne and perfume is actually how concentrated they are, how much of the fragrance is in it. So it drives me nuts because it's like, oh, men don't wear cologne, and I'm like, or men don't wear perfume, and I'm like, well, they should because it's stronger and it'll last longer. Like, yeah. So yeah. But what about you? Do you have a favorite?
So right now, my favorite, and I say right now because I'm not a big perfume girl. I like body sprays, but I have this
That
pheromone.
is the same thing. Body
I see.
spray,
I don't. I
body
feel like body sprays
sprays.
are softer.
No, they are. But I guess what I'm saying is like that's exactly what I was just talking about, where it's like cologne has a certain there's so cologne has a certain amount of fragrance in it. Body sprays, I want to say, are like lower than that. Like they don't have they're not as strong.
Right.
And perfume you get more concentrated. But I guess what my point is, or what I'm trying to say, is it's like they're all fragrance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just taught me something though. I didn't know about the levels of
It's how much juice is in it or whatever. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're taking the bottle and pouring the whole thing on, then it's like, well, you've got like a perfume level of how much is in it. But what one is yours? What do you like for the body sprays?
So right now I'm doing this roll-on perfume, and it's like a oil base. It's called Crazy in Love, and it's a pheromone. So it makes the men folks go crazy.
So I should wear this too.
Yes. It's Crazy in Love, and it lives up to the name. I'll just say that.
Crazy in Love. Is that like I love some stuff from like Bath and Body Works too.
I actually got it from the TikTok shop.
Oh, is there a TikTok shop?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Go to my showcase and get it so that I can get commission.
There you go. Crazy in Love. I'll look it up. No, that's super fun. So is that like your I only know this question because you did give me a little heads up on some of the questions, but I so have to ask it. I hope you'll forgive me for if I ask you the question. But
okay.
Is that your date scent?
That's my boo scent. So that's for like I have just one little bookie butt, and that's what I wear when he and I are going to be together, and he can't keep his hands off of me.
Love that so much. Yes.
So and my daughter smelled it, and she's like, "Oh, I love that. I want to wear it." I said, "Don't wear it to school. The boys will be following you around."
You're like, maybe not yet. That's so great.
You can wear it to sleep, but not to school. Yeah, wear it on the weekends.
I too have a fragrance. I mean, I'd wear what I'm wearing right now on a date, but there's one. It's just a tiny little. I think it's similar to what you're describing. Like it's a tiny little like roll-on thing, and it's called Egyptian musk, and I love the musk. Yeah, there's something in it. I've put it on. I have worn it on a date, and I actually had it like in my shoulder bag because I bicycle it, like I bike all over the place, and I didn't have it on when I first went on the date, and then it's like, oh geez, and I ran to the restroom, and I put some on, and then I came out. The guy looked at me, he's like, oh my God, and I was like, what? And he's like, you do not smell like you did. Wow, you smell so good. Like
it was funny.
It was great, but also I was like, oh, this is really obvious. Like,
well, I mean, hey,
yeah.
You want me to smell good, or you want me to smell like I've been riding a bike?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yes. Paul, what is the best advice you've received just during your career or in your teenage years, something that has stuck with you?
I always, especially when it comes to acting, but this applies to life in a big way. My dad would ask me when I first was starting out acting, he's like, so I'd be going on auditions and callbacks and things like that. And he's like, so I have a question. And I was like, okay. And my dad, he looked at me and he's like, are you being told no? And I was like, yeah, I'm getting turned down. And because I was booking some things and things like that. But my dad was like, are you being told no? And he followed it up with, oh, you're being told no. Good. Well, that means that you're pushing yourself hard enough. Like, he's like, if you're not being told no, you're not pushing yourself as much as you should. Mm. And I love that so much because it's taps into that idea of we should be failing. We should be trying things so that we fail. Like, failure is not a quote unquote failure. Failure is like, okay. Like I tried something cool. Mm-hmm. And it maybe didn't work out. Well, let's keep trying, and I really appreciated my dad telling me that.
Yeah, because it's like, what did you learn from that? Because I feel like when there is a failure, there should be a lesson in it. So like,
Yes.
what did I learn? What can I change for the next time? Yeah, so
Yes.
definitely agree with that. So what's next for Paul Cram?
Oh, what is next for me? Like in a literal sense, what is next for me is I'm looking forward to summer. I'm going to be playing some kickball with the queer league that I play with. And also, I'm super excited. I'm working on a comedy short film that is shooting here in June.
Okay.
Think like Napoleon Dynamite esque kind of
Ooh,
zany fun.
I
And
love Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah,
Okay. Are you
yeah.
able to give the name?
The name of it is called Sunny.
Sunny. Okay.
Yep, yep. So it's a comedy short. That is literally what's next for me. I will share. I don't think it's oversharing at all. I know the writer and the actor in it. I'm gonna be dancing on the top of tables. So
Well, all
it's gonna
right.
exactly.
I look forward to seeing that. I
Yeah.
truly do. Well, Paul, please tell the audience how they can connect with you in the future. How can they
Yeah, people can
find you?
find me. I'm on some social media. I'm not actually on TikTok yet. I probably should be. But people can find me just iampaulcram.com. So if people go to my website, there's links to like movies I've been in, audiobooks, and just different things like that. But I am on some social media too, and it's all I am Paul Cram.
Yes, make sure you go check out the website. There is a lot of treats, and I really enjoyed it. I've sat there and listened to Paul read a book. I'm not sure what book it was, but I was mesmerized.
I love
So
that.
yes, that
Thank
was a
you.
treat. Well, Paul, I thank you so much for showing up with so much
Yeah.
honesty, warmth, and heart. Your story reminds us that healing isn't linear, but it can smell really good along the way.
Yes.
To everyone listening, make sure to follow Paul. Check out the Men Who Read book club. Share this episode with someone who could use a reminder that they're not alone. And until next time, this is Deborah with the Healing Version, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.